Max just bought a 12-unit apartment building for $1.4 million. And here's the part that sounds illegal, but isn't. The bank happily paid for most of it. Today, how to acquire an apartment building with mostly borrowed money, the honest day one math nobody posts, and the forced appreciation play that turns $100,000 of paint into $500,000 of equity. First, why apartments are the acquirer's favorite asset on earth. People always need somewhere to live, in booms and in busts, so the income is as durable as income gets. Banks know it, which is why they lend up to 75% of the price at the longest terms in finance, 30 years, and price it cheaper than almost any business loan. And unlike a business, an apartment building doesn't need you standing in it. A property manager runs the day-to-day for 8% of collections, chasing the rents, booking the plumbers, fielding the 2 a.m. calls that used to be the whole reason people feared being a landlord. Where a laundromat is a job with cash flow, a building is a machine that hires its own operator. And for beginners, there's even a cheat code. Live in one unit of a 2 to 4 unit building, and an FHA loan lets you in for as little as 3.5% down. Max is past that stage, but that's the on-ramp. Now, the building Max bought. 12 units, brick, 1970s, tired but solid, in a working-class neighborhood with jobs. Rents average $1,100 a month, which is about $250 under the going rate, because the retiring owner hasn't raised rent since the pandemic. He knows every tenant by name and dreads the awkward conversation, which is very kind of him. And exactly why the building is priced on yesterday's income. Max sent one polite letter and toured it that weekend. 12 units at $1,100 is $158,000 a year. Knock off 5% for vacancy, call it $150,000 collected. Now the expenses. And this is where amateurs lie to themselves. Property taxes, insurance, maintenance, water, the manager's cut, snow and lawns. It all eats about 40%, $60,000 a year. Net operating income, $90,000. Buildings like this trade around a 6.5% cap rate, and $90,000 divided by 6.5% prices the building at right about $1.4 million. Here's how he pays for it: 25% down, $350,000. And the bank funds the other $1.05 million over 30 years at about 6.8%. Debt service, roughly $82,000 a year. So run the honest day one math: $90,000 in, $82,000 to the bank, and Max clears $8,000. $8,000 on $350,000 invested. Terrible, right? Except that's normal. And here's the truth about multifamily: nobody buys these for day one cash flow. You buy the upside, the loan paydown, and the tax shelter, because depreciation on the building wipes out most of that income on paper, while real dollars still land in the account. Because here's the real play: forced appreciation. Commercial buildings are priced on income, not comps, so every dollar of new income you create reprices the whole asset. Max renovates units as they turn, $8,000 each for floors, paint, fixtures, and lighting. The renovated units rent for $1,350, market rate, not a penny more. Do all 12 over 2 years, about $100,000 of renovation, and the rent roll climbs from $158 to $194. After vacancy and slightly higher costs, NOI lands around $123,000. Same cap rate math. The building is now worth about $1.9 million. That's $500,000 of new equity, manufactured with paint and patience. And then the magic trick: refinance. The bank reappraises at 1.9, lends 70% against the new value, and hands Max back roughly $300,000 tax-free, most of his original down payment, while he still owns the building. That's the strategy the internet calls buy, renovate, rent, refinance, repeat. And it's how small landlords quietly become big ones, rolling the same pile of cash from building to building, while every previous building keeps paying them. 10 years of that snowball is how the quiet guy at the diner ends up owning 200 doors. But the landmines here are heavy, because leverage cuts both ways. 1. Deferred capital expenses. Roofs, boilers, plumbing stacks. None of it shows in the rent roll. All of it costs 6 figures, so you inspect like a pessimist and hold reserves like 1, 2. A real number, several $100s per unit per year set aside before you count $1 of profit. 2. The debt itself. Fixed-rate long money is your friend. Short-term floating debt is how professional syndicators blew up entire portfolios when rates jumped. Match the loan to the plan. 3. Regulation. Rent control and eviction rules vary wildly by city and can cap your entire value-add plan. So read the local rules before you underwrite a single rent bump. And 4. The tenants you inherit. The rent roll lists people, not just numbers, and a building full of non-paying inherited leases is a lawsuit with hallways. Screen the leases in diligence as hard as the boiler, walk every single unit before closing, and treat any door the seller cannot open as a 5-figure problem wearing a deadbolt. So here's the apartment playbook. Buy a tired building from a tired owner, priced on today's weak rents. Put 25% down on the longest fixed-rate loan you can get. Accept the skinny day-one cash flow, then force the appreciation. Renovate on turnover, push rents only to market, and let the cap rate reprice the asset. Refinance your capital back out, keep the building, repeat. Max is $8,000 a year, becomes $40,000 after the renovation, plus $500,000 in equity, plus a tenant base quietly paying off his mortgage every month. The bank's money built the machine. The machine pays the bank. Max keeps the building. This is Acquisition Insider, showing you how the machine really works. Subscribe.